How does the intimacy get affected as we navigate through different stages of a relationship? Let's dive in. If you haven't seen my previous episode about the 5 stages of a long-term relationship, I'm going to link it right here so you can check it out. But today I want to talk about how does our intimacy evolve throughout those 5 stages. And I'd like to thank Blank Page Diaries for suggesting this topic. I love it when you guys tell me what you want to know about, what you want to hear. So keep the suggestions coming and I will do my best to make a video specifically based on what you guys are needing in the moment that you need it. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I've talked about the 5 stages of a relationship, but I love to go a little bit deeper to talk about what exactly goes on intimately during these 5 stages. So of course we know about the honeymoon stage, which is when you guys first start to get attracted to each other and you're usually in a very physically intimate space. You are exploring each other's bodies, you're exploring things that you like and you don't like, and you are really connecting on a very physical level. And this part is like so fun and so joyful, but it can also be really triggering for some people who have never really had a safe space to explore physical intimacy. So at first, you may be super intimate and you may be super excited to explore your physical intimacy, but what happens is those hormones start to get triggered in our body. And then if you're someone with a lot of, like, say, sexual trauma, you may hit a point in your relationship where you feel like you're hitting a wall. Usually this happens subconsciously, and, that's how we navigate into the next stage, which is the power struggle phase. So if you don't have a lot of emotional maturity, you may shut down, you may go into survival mode and freeze or flight or fight. Whatever your coping mechanism is, you usually are going to do that. You may start fighting a little more with your partner, or you may retreat completely depending on how you react when you are triggered into your survival mode. What I like to do in this situation is introduce emotional intimacy. The most important thing during this phase is for our ego to feel safe so that it's not activated. Usually when your ego is activated, that's when you are in survival mode. So if you have like a partner who you can express your truth with and share your vulnerabilities and be honest and unmask, then that's a really beautiful opportunity to build in emotional intimacy. But if you don't feel like the person that you're with is an emotional safe space for you, that's usually a sign that it's either going to require professional help, like a coach or a therapist, or that's just not the right partner for you, and that's okay too. But sometimes we push people away because we may have an avoidant attachment style or an anxious attachment style, and we may just not want to deal with the work that is required to get through the power struggle into stability. So the way to tell the difference is really take an honest look at your relationship. Are you projecting your past experiences into this one? Are you comparing them to an ex? Are you trying to think that they are out to get you because you've never felt safe in a relationship before? Are they triggering your wounds from childhood that is inviting you to look deeper within your own self? So the power struggle phase is a really important time to assess, like, where can you create more safety within your own body so that you aren't avoiding and neglecting your own emotions. And then once you are able to figure out a way and a strategy that works for you. So for me, I love to journal first thing in the morning, get out everything that is stuck in my brain and put it down on paper and really see, like, where am I at? What is blocking me? What am I still holding on to? And what am I ready to let go of? And then another thing that I love to do is dance. So I do a lot of like intuitive emotional dancing where it's not really following a strategy or a routine. I just allow my body to flow in whatever way it needs to. And our bodies are extremely intelligent. So like if you are feeling more twerking, then you may have a lot of trauma in your hips. If you're feeling more like sensuality dancing, just like more contemporary dancing, then you may have a lot of like emotions stuck in your body. So really just allow your body to like express itself without judgment. And that's like the first step, right? So if you could create enough space in your own body to feel your emotions, I promise you that is going to be reflected back to you in your relationships with another partner. And it may sound a little woo-woo, but it's all energetic because you are the main character of your life, and whatever you are experiencing in your external reality is an invitation to go deeper within and look at what is that mirroring into my own reality. So whatever you experience in your external reality is always a mirror into what you need to feel within your own body. This is why they say like you are the main character of your life, because it's not something that's like narcissistic and you're just like putting yourself first and not caring about other people. It's because the science behind it all, the universal laws are literally telling you that your thoughts and feelings are creating your reality. Your lived experience is valid, but it is also just your lived experience. Someone else can have the same exact experience, but feel completely different, right? Because whatever we experience is going to be determined by our subconscious programming, our nervous system regulation, our past experiences, and our current limiting thoughts and beliefs, what have you. So if you're someone who is actively working on your nervous system, actively working on your mindfulness practices, and expanding as a human being in your own body, you get to clear a lot of those preconceived things. So let's get back to the emotional intimacy. So in the power struggle phase, if you are feeling like you're not safe with your partner, do an inventory check to make sure that you are safe in your own body first and foremost. Try to find ways that you can create more emotional safety within your own body and process your own emotions with a bit more awareness and integrity and courage and vulnerability. Once you're able to really understand your own emotions, then you're able to have more clarity and express your emotions to somebody else. But if you're disorganized and if you're anxious and if you're avoidant, then you're going to be continuing those patterns and cycles until you're ready to take a look at the truth and break that pattern and start your journey into a secure attachment style. Somebody who has a secure attachment style is somebody who has a trigger or has something come up and they know that they are responsible for their own emotional reaction, so they're not projecting their wounds onto others. They take full accountability, full responsibility for whatever they are feeling, and then they get to see with clarity, is this person actually crossing a boundary? Is this person actually a non-safe space for me? If so, have the courage and the clarity to have those conversations with that person and say, hey, when you did this, it made me feel like this. Not sure if that was your intention, but just want to make sure that you're aware of that. But if you go at it without processing your own emotions first and foremost, then you're going to be very reactive and you're going to come at that person with a very aggressive tone, aggressive demeanor, and you're not being in your sovereign power of someone who is emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature, someone who knows themselves through and through. You're going to be trying to get somebody else to be responsible for making you feel better about yourself. And that is giving your power away, because then you're putting your needs and your emotional safety into somebody else's hands. And if you live in that space, you are never going to break through the power struggle and move into a place of stability. Stability requires a secure attachment style. And we can't get to stability if we're not willing to do the work that is required to become emotionally mature people. So just putting that out there first. We've got the honeymoon stage, which is all about physical intimacy. We've got the power struggle phase, which is all about emotional intimacy, starting with yourself and then others. Same thing with physical intimacy, right? Like if you don't feel confident in your own body first and foremost, you're not going to enjoy the physical intimacy with somebody else, because you're going to be in your head thinking, oh, I look like this, I look like that, I'm this, I'm that, right? So create a pleasure practice so that you start to feel really confident and secure in your body, no matter what you look like, coming into acceptance, so that your honeymoon stage can actually be really, really fun and vibrant and exciting, instead of something that causes you anxiety and, makes you wonder, like, am I good enough? Is this right? Where are we going? You're just so in your power of like, I'm amazing. I know I'm beautiful. I get to share my beauty and my physical vessel with this other person, and it just gets to be really, really fun without attachment to the outcome. If it naturally goes into the next stage of relationships, then you can explore the emotional intimacy with this person. If you're both secure, you're going to have a beautiful time exploring your emotional intimacy. The power struggle isn't going to be so high and low, but you will have a moment in your relationship where you are being asked to have deeper conversations, get into that space of emotional intimacy. So if you're able to have emotional intimacy, then the next step is stability, where you are both secure in taking care of your own selves, and now you get to simply experience life together. You get to have more mentally stimulating conversations. You get to understand their life, their way of being, and they get to do the same for you. It's a really fun time in that stage to expand your consciousness and be like, oh wow, that's how you see life. That's so interesting. Because now your nervous system is regulated, right? So you're not thinking like, oh, this person's differences is a threat to me and my way of life. You're simply able to have enough space in your nervous system to be like, oh, interesting, this person thinks that way. That's amazing for them. I think this way, and I can still think this way, even if it's contradictory, because the purpose of relationships isn't to merge and become the same person. It is to expand your consciousness and your heart to create space for two totally different people to enjoy life together. So once you're in the stability, you have these mental conversations. I don't know about you, but like the Libra in me loves mental intimacy. Like I love to know how his mind works. I love to know what he thinks about certain things. I love to see what he's interested in. And I love when he asks me questions about like my passions, my joy, my pleasures, and like things that I'm interested in, the things that I think about. Yes, we definitely get into arguments sometimes, and we both have to be consciously aware of it so that it doesn't turn into a fight where we say, wow, we really think about things in a totally different way. And that's okay. It's not a threat to the relationship. Instead, it is an invitation to expand and hold even more space for your differences to coexist together. After stability, we head into commitment stage of a relationship. So the commitment stage is where you are both committed to your differences and creating a life together despite being two totally different people. And in this place, you get to say, okay, we've been through a lot, and now I understand you on a deeper level. And now I'm ready to have fun. This is where we head into more of the playfulness, right? This is where we start to share our desires more, our kinks, our fantasies. You've already built the emotional safety, right? And then you've already built the mental safety. So now in the commitment stage is usually where you get to express more of the things that you kept hidden behind masks, behind closed doors, where you don't want other people to judge you, but now you've committed to this partner, right? That's the commitment stage. And now you're feeling safe to express more of the things that you keep closeted, right? This phase is so fun and explorative and adventurous and exciting. And honestly, in my personal experience, I like it better than the honeymoon stage, because the honeymoon stage was just about like surface level experiencing each other's bodies. But now in the playful stage, I get to be fully myself and know that this person loves me fully for who I am. And I get to share parts of me that I feel like I never would have gotten to in the honeymoon stage, because you don't have those levels of safety that is required in order for you to express yourself in a more vibrant and playful and kinky way. After the commitment stage, we have the bliss stage. And this is where you really transition from just like a human to human relationship to more of a soulful relationship, and you understand that you both are here for a bigger purpose, and you get to explore each other on more of a spiritual level. So what that means for us is that we understand that this isn't our first rodeo. Like this guy sees my soul in a way that nobody else does. I get to have conversations with him telepathically. I get to have like literally sexual experiences alone with his energy, and like he'll feel it. It's wild. Like, it's so hard to explain and put into words. I don't have the full words for this yet because it's still really new for me in my life, but I will. I'm going to try my best to explain how it feels, because it's so energetic and it's so just like expansive in a way where it's like, wow, this person is not just to have fun with and not just to build a life with, but to truly help me reach my full potential. Like, really support me and encourage me and be there for me in a way that is so beyond physical intimacy, so beyond emotional intimacy, so beyond mental intimacy. Like, spiritual intimacy is like you get to come home to who you truly are through experiencing life with this person. Oh, this is so hard to explain. If any of this is making sense, drop a comment below, because spiritual intimacy is something that it's like those relationships where there's two people in a party and they're doing their own thing, and then they just look at each other and it's like they have a whole conversation just through that look. And you have these like moments of pure safety, pure expansiveness, the freedom and autonomy to be a whole individual person while still experiencing the deepest bond with somebody else. And my husband and I have just gotten here recently, like I would say in the past 6 months or so, and it's just like magic. And also, like, I get to manifest now for him because we're so spiritually connected. And he gets to, like, the more he takes care of me and the more he provides for me, the more he supports me, the more he gets blessed by the universe. Because the purpose of a man in this day and age is to work hard, have his own purpose, have his own joy, and be able to share his wealth with his partner so that she can have the stability and the safety and the security to awaken and heal and rise into her own full potential. And then when she does that, she pours a lot of her energy into making sure that the home is a safe space for him to flourish, making sure that, you know, he is nurtured emotionally, and it becomes a two-way street. Like, it becomes this beautiful ebb and flow between what he needs and what you need, and you guys are able to give yourselves first and foremost all that you need. So you don't need anything from the other person, but you simply want to provide and give because you know that you're receiving just as much. There's no like wondering, oh, am I giving too much? Am I not? Am I pleasing him and not pleasing myself? Because you're such a sovereign being in your own energy that you get to give from an overflow, and him too. Like, it's just this beautiful dance of like, I got me, you got you, now let's choose to do life together. It's so beautiful because that's how you can grow and evolve, and you're not staying stuck and pulled down into your survival mode mechanisms, into your dysregulated nervous system. It's not perfect all the time. It's not that you never fight ever again, but your fights are not fights where you go into like the irrational, the highs and lows. You're both just super regulated and you're both super secure. So you know that when a disagreement comes up, like, you talk about it like adults and you get through it, putting both of your experiences out on the table and assessing it like two mature adults without feeling like, oh, if I'm compromising, then I'm giving up my sense of self. Because you would never give up your sense of self when you are in that sovereign role. What you do is sometimes you'll agree to disagree. Sometimes you will get creative to find a new path forward, which is like the goal, right? To keep going forward, not to like put a band-aid on the problem, allow the cracks to keep growing. You pour gold into those cracks, you get to the root of it, you nip it in the bud, and then you continue forward. It takes a lot of like mental, emotional, and physical safety in order to be able to get to the place where, like, you know, this person, it has your best interest at heart, you have their best interest at heart, and you're both committed and determined to keep the conversation civil and to keep the relationship moving forward. So to wrap it up, we got the honeymoon stage, which is all about physical intimacy. We've got the power struggle phase, which requires emotional intimacy in order to get to the next stage, which is stability, all about mental intimacy. And then we've got commitment, where you explore more of that fun, joyful, playful intimacy. And then we have bliss, which is all about the spiritual intimacy, which is a connection beyond the physical realms, and you'll get it when you get there. If you are there, I'd love to know how you guys are navigating it. Drop your comments below. And if you have any other recommendations for other videos you'd like to see, please share them with me and I'll get to it. As always, if you are wanting to work together to work on either your self-love, your connection to yourself, or a connection with others, or both, hop into my containers. I would love to help you get to a beautiful place in your journey of love, harmony, and bliss. If you want to build your personal brand, then hop into Shakti Society, my 12-month container to help women rise and shine as their most authentic selves so they can create the legacy that they came here to create. Okay, guys, well, that's all I have for you today. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.